Today, Ohio State in the Big Ten against South Carolina in the SEC. Winless a year ago, Lou Holtz has the Gamecocks playing on New Year's Day. Can they continue their Cinderella run, or will the Buckeyes' stingy defense ruin the storybook ending? Conference pride is on the line. The Outback Bowl next.
South Carolina arriving at the stadium this morning. Then Ohio State, head coach John Cooper arriving on a crisp and cold Tampa day, 34 degrees when the sun came up today as we prepare for the 2001 Outback Bowl. Today for the Southeastern Conference, the Gamecocks of South Carolina facing off against the Big Ten's Ohio State Buckeyes, 8-3. And the Buckeyes take the field here at Raymond James Stadium. And out of the tunnel to our left, which is the North Tunnel, the Gamecocks of South Carolina. Now let's check back with the studio, Reese Davis and Rodney Gilmore.
All right, Ron, thanks a lot. And certainly, Rod, first of all, Happy New Year to you. It's been a great season, and certainly this day is a great way to start the final 3 days of the college football season. We're capping things off. And another matchup between a traditional power and, you know, you'd have to search long and hard to find more disparate programs over the course of history, but Lou Holtz has brought the team back, and dealing with that defense is going to be tough for Ohio State, I would think.
I think that's right, and Lou Holtz may have some more magic up his sleeve, and he's going to need it to stop Ohio State. Ohio State has some concerns with the wide receiver spots, but Holtz has problems of his own. Derek Watson out of the ball game. South Carolina trouble scoring. Their defense has to be dominant today. Look for Sheldon Brown, their cornerback, to be a shutdown corner. He's got to take someone out of the ball game for South Carolina to do well.
Been difficult to throw touchdown passes against South Carolina this year. Ohio State's had difficulty throwing them at times, and certainly with the injuries and the dismissals that they've had, it certainly will be even tougher. Here's Ryan Brewer. He's going to step in for Derek Watson. South Carolina, Ohio State coming up next.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2001 Outback Bowl is brought to you by Raymond James. Listening to you like you're the only investor in the world. You first. By Beck's, a beer apart. And by Red Zone from Old Spice, intense protection for intense people.
You know what?
That season start, the number 21 loomed large for Lou Holtz and crew, but after 21 games, the nation's longest losing streak became a thing of the past. The Cinderella Gamecocks performed the biggest regular season turnaround in SEC history on their way to their first bowl appearance since '94. For John Cooper and Ohio State, a New Year's Day bowl has become familiar territory. But after a slightly disappointing season, the Bucks are primed to rain on South Carolina's New Year's Day parade. Absolutely perfect weather, a little bit cool if you are from the state of Florida, but it feels great to the folks from Ohio. The Gamecocks and the Buckeyes and the 2001 edition of the Outback Bowl. Bill Lathan, the referee in today's game, has just had the coin toss. Ohio State won, and they defer to the second half. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Mike Gottfried, and a very happy new year to you and yours. Hope you had a great evening last night and that you're ready to settle back and watch some football today. Mike, let's cut to the chase. What does this one hinge on today?
I think the big thing is Ohio State's running game. Ohio State has to find a way to run the football. That may be spread the field with 3 wide receivers or 4 wide receivers. Take pressure off quarterback Steve Belisari, who has had a tough year and a tough Michigan ball game. But they want to rely on the running game. You see when they run for 100 yards or more, they're 7-1. That's what they want to do.
Mike, with South Carolina, Derek Watson over 1,000 yards rushing this year. He's not here. He was suspended, disciplined for violation of team rules. What kind of effect does that have on the Gamecocks?
Well, it has a big effect because Derek Watson's a home run threat for South Carolina, but they win on defense. We talk about Ohio State having to run the ball. South Carolina has to play great defense. Cleveland, Pinckney, Cecil Caldwell, two outstanding defensive linemen have to stop Ohio State's running game.
One other question. What the fans at Ohio State expect year in and year out. They expect to win over Michigan. They expect to go to the Rose Bowl. This is not Pasadena. Will the Bucks play hard today?
Well, that's the big question. I think they will. They've had problems. Germany's not here, and John Cooper has had players questioning other players. He'd like to win this football game, take a little pressure off.
Lou Holtz coached 6 different teams to bowl games, a 10-8-2 record. Stoltz has it teed at the 35, and the 2001 Outback Bowl is underway. This is Alexander from the 10. Out of the 25-yard line, and let's go to the sideline and check with the third member of our group, Adrian Karsten. Happy New Year.
Ron, same to you, sir, and all our college football fans. Y'all need to know it really feels like a late October day in Columbus, Ohio down here right now. 34 degrees, and that's very good news for Ohio State. Because John Cooper claims one of the reasons Big Ten schools have trouble in some of these Southern Bowls is because they have to practice and play in heat they may not have experienced since August or September. Because of the cool conditions, both teams, but especially the Buckeyes, may not be sucking air like they would in this game were it warmer. Remember what the Heat did to Purdue in this game last year.
First play, end around. Corey Alexander knocked down for a loss back at the 21-yard line. Nate Clements with the tackle. The back starting lineup for South Carolina. Phil Petty at quarterback. The junior out of Boiling Springs, South Carolina. He will have Brewer and Pinnock behind him. Jermaine Kelly and Scott the wide receivers. And Thomas Hill is the tight end. Petty this time from a shotgun formation. Ohio State shows blitz on the outside, and they come off the corner. They hand it off in the draw. This is Pinnock. He will take it out over the 25 to the 29-yard line, and it gives us an opportunity to look at that group that is blocking up front. Wharton, Williams, Laurel Johnson was a left guard. They have moved him to center. Fry is the right guard, and Melvin Page is the right tackle. Who do they face off with, Mike?
Good front. Laurel Johnson, you talked about the center. He's going to have his problems with Mike Collins, number 98, the nose guard.
This time, Ryan Brewer, the lone setback. Again, the Buckeyes show blitz on the outside. Let's see if they come off the corner again. They stay at home. Petty under heavy pressure throws this one away, and that could be grounding because he didn't get it beyond the line of scrimmage, did he? Brent Johnson is the man with the pressure. No flag is down, and it will be 4th down and kicking situation.
And that's got to be a concern for Lou Holtz, his offensive line against this front of Ohio State. If they gear it up and they want to play now, this front is as good as any in the country.
Tyler Dean prepares to punt it away. And Nate Clemens, number 20, is the single deep person for the Buckeyes. Nice hanging spiral. Clements, no fair catch. Return from the 20. Clements, 45, 47-yard line. 51 on the kick and 28 on the return. And it was Dennis Quinn on the special teams who made the tackle. So this is the way they'll start offensively. Steve Belisari Jr. out of Boca Raton, Florida. An engineering major gets the call at quarterback as usual for the Bucks. And he will have Wells and Martin behind him. Provitt and Rambo, the wide receivers, the tight end, very talented Darnell Sanders. We'll check the offensive line after this play. Combs, normally the starter at tailback, but he was late arriving for practice and is punished. So it is Wells. Has 5, has 10, and counted off at 12 yards on the first running play as DeAndre Island comes up from his free safety position to make the tackle. The offensive line for Ohio State, and they are huge. Clark, Gurr, LaCharles Bentley, Hopkins, and Fleming. Henry Fleming, very good. He's playing a little nicked up right now.
Good front, and that's what Ohio State's going to do. They're going to go to one back, spread out this front seven, and try to work on Caldwell and Pinckney.
So from South Carolina territory, the give is to Wells. This time on the left side, short yardage. Still some pushing and shoving going on downfield, and the players having to be separated out there. Defensively for South Carolina, the linebackers, Wadley and Harney. Kenny Harney, very good player. Finally, he is healthy. He has had problems with injuries all year. Goodman, Faison, Island, Alford, and Brown in the secondary for the Gamecocks. This time a two-back set. Jamar Martin, a junior out of Canton, Ohio. Number 39, the fullback. He's the blocker. Boy, big hit on Jonathan Wells. Going to be short of the first down. He'll miss it by about a yard. Mike, we were talking yesterday as Island comes up and makes another tackle about Martin is truly a fullback and truly a blocking back. The youngster has only carried the ball 8 times in 11 games this year.
Well, Woody Hayes used to have a philosophy to go out and get fullbacks in high school football in Ohio and make them guards. Jamar Martin might as well be a guard. He's only caught 1 pass beside the 8 carries.
2 tight ends, third down, about a yard, and they pitch the ball. Wells tries to turn the corner, and the quickness of the defense will knock him down for a loss. Kenneth Harney is the man who got out to make the stop.
And that's what South Carolina has to rely on. They think they're faster than Ohio State. They believe they got more athletic people on defense, and they run very, very well. Ohio State choosing to go outside. Kenyon Rambo blocking right here, gets a good block from the tackle, but Kenneth Harney was there to make the stop.
So Ohio State will go for it. Lost about a half yard on the play. They need to take it to about a half yard this side to the left of the 30. Wells again. He's going to have the first down this time inside the 30-yard line. DeAndre Island, and this is not good news when you're looking at a defense where the free safety's already made 3 tackles.
No, the strategy for Ohio State, when they go to one back, then they displace a defender of South Carolina, so they're blocking 1 less man. So I think John Cooper's going to look to stay with the one-back offense here, spreading out South Carolina and turning it over to his offensive line.
Jonathan Wells is actually split way out to the left. Belisari first throw, and he throws it out to Wells, the tailback. As that time, Ohio State had them spread all over the field.
Yeah, it's an empty set. And Steve Belisari, now, one thing Chuck Stobart, the offensive coordinator, said he's a little like a yo-yo. His decision-making has hampered him this year. Well, when you go to an empty set or you go to 4 wide receivers, it displaces the defense, so the decision-making's a lot easier for Steve Belisari.
Mike, after that tackle, Sheldon Brown, the right cornerback, was shaken up a little bit. He didn't come into the defensive huddle. He was out there crouched down. High pass, gonna run it. Belisari cuts toward the sideline, and he is knocked down after a gain of a couple at around the 24-yard line by Andre Goodman.
Belisari, you saw his statistics, 13 touchdown passes, but 12 interceptions, so he makes some mistakes. And there's questions whether he is a true drop back quarterback. A lot of people would like to see him option football, roll out a little bit more, but he is a good runner. He averages 4.5 yards per rush.
8th play of the drive. It all started at the 48-yard line of Ohio State. Third down, line to make is the 19, Belisari. Great protection, gets it off to his tight end, that's Sanders, and he is tripped up, and it looks as though he is about a yard shy of the first down. Rashad Faison got a hand on his ankle.
A lot of the snaps have been very high for Steve Belisari from LaCharles Bentley in the shotgun. I'm sure Steve Belisari is going to tell him, get it down a little bit.
It's been like a jump ball
a little bit more.
It has. It's been like a jump ball 3 times now. Cascio comes to the sideline, and they will check in with another tight end, number 49, Tim Cheapwood, a junior out of Cleveland. Buckeyes with a 4th down, about a half yard to pick it up. Behind the line of scrimmage. He won't have it. That's Kenneth Harney again with a huge play.
You only can go the well so often. One back set. South Carolina played it very well and forced it to spill outside.
So as Mike Gottfried said, you can only go to the wells so often. Let's take a break. No score. The 2001 Outback Bowl from Tampa. 8:09 left in this opening quarter. We'll be right back. So South Carolina gets the stop on the Buckeyes, and they come out offensively. And Ohio State immediately with 5 defensive backs with this spread formation that the Gamecocks have been using. This time it's 2 tight ends and a wide receiver to either side. And the running play is going to go across the 25 with Andrew Pinnock. Well, we didn't get a chance to give you the remainder of the starting lineup for the Buckeyes on that opening sequence. The linebackers. Good active group. Joe Cooper. Wilhelm a little bit dinged up. Has a knee injury, but he's going. And Cortland Bullard. The secondary, Clements and Mitchell on the outside. And Nicky and Mike Doss, who has been sensational. Very young sophomore out of Canton, Ohio, but he has been very effective this year. Brewer and Pinnock now in an I formation for the Gamecocks. Brewer tries to turn the corner, and he's got to be tripped up. Knocked down. It's great pursuit by Cortland Bullard, the junior out of Miami, Florida. He was out there to make the tackle.
And South Carolina started this season with a spread offense. We talked about Skip Holtz talking his dad into it. They visited Purdue in the spring and came back with a 1-back offense. But toward the end of the season, Lou Holtz has kind of won out a little bit more and going back to 2-back offense. So that was a 2-back play there by South Carolina, defended well by the Bucks.
3rd down. They need to take it to the 32-yard line to keep this drive going. Bullard showing blitz on the outside for the Buckeyes, and here he comes off the corner. Petty, quick read, got it. 1st down, South Carolina. Brian Scott, the receiving end of a 14-yard pass from Phil Petty.
Phil Petty is a winner for South Carolina. Skip Holtz says that every game he's been productive. Here we get the blitz, pick it up very well, hit Brian Scott on a slant, a good play call against man coverage. 1st down, South Carolina.
Well, this time, Mike, they're going to go back to the 2-back set with Brewer and Pinnock. Make the reverse. Pressure is on. Got a man wide open. This is Brewer. Ryan Brewer. 20. And tackled at the 17-yard line by Donnie Nicky. 46 yards in the pass play.
You know how happy Ryan Brewer's got to be from Troy, Ohio. Mr. Football in the state of Ohio in '98 gets this pass from Phil Petty. Great ball handling by Phil Petty. Ryan Brewer comes out of the backfield. He's wide open.
Mike Doss, number 2, was the guy who was coming after the quarterback and almost messed up. A very good fake and play.
A good play call by Skip Holtz.
2 tight end alignment, 2 wide receivers. Pinnock the lone setback. Pinnock gets the handoff, breaks off 1 tackle inside the 15 to around the 13. Matt Wilhelm making the stop on him. I mentioned Wilhelm and the fact that he's playing with an injured knee. Jason Bond, the young man behind him, is not going to be able to play today because he injured a knee. His father and his uncle, Bond, on the sideline, played at South Carolina. He wanted an opportunity to play in this ball game, but not going to be able to. Second down, they need to take the ball to the 6.5-yard line. Pinnock off right tackle in the vicinity of the 10.
Ron, you're talking about Matt Wilhelm this week on Tuesday. he really got into it. He questioned the leadership of Kenyon Rambo, the captain of the Ohio State football team. He said, you know, he doesn't have leadership skills, and talked about him being late and dress code, and it kind of got the attention of this football team. It talked about all the things that have happened this week at Ohio State, and here you got one player signaling another guy out and wanting him to play harder. So a lot going on for Ohio State.
Third down. Petty tries to run the option play. Brett Johnson stayed right at home.
South Carolina will take their 3-point opportunity here.
Now the coach is discussing on the sideline. Now here come the special teams.
Now points are too important here early, and I think Ohio State's defense, when they came on the field after that 4th and 1 miss, blew an assignment and gave South Carolina a big play.
Corsi with a field goal attempt, and this is going to be of 29 yards from the far hash mark. Movement by South Carolina. So now it's going to be a 34-yard attempt.
Well, it's an interesting call. Ohio State had 2 players moving, but I believe it's going to be on South Carolina.
After the snap, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty remains.
Travis Lewis, number 40.
Yeah, Travis, who was a fullback, came up out of his stance. So as we said, now it's a 34-yard attempt. Jason Corsi, redshirt freshman out of Lake Forest, Illinois. Got distance on this one, and wide to the right and no good.
They've had problems with their field goal kicking this year.
So we will take a commercial break. So this play goes for naught. Doss coming with the pressure, and I mean, he just left all alone. Not picked up. Nicky finally will make the tackle, but South Carolina comes away with no points. We'll be right back. ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2001 Outback Bowl is presented by Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. And in part by Chrysler. We're reinventing the passion for driving. And by Capital One. What's in your wallet? 3 minutes and 34 seconds left to play in this opening quarter. Still no score between Ohio State and South Carolina, both with great opportunities, and they came away with nothing. Derek Combs, as we said, was penalized because he was late arriving in Tampa. Didn't start the game, but he's in at tailback now. And he gets his first handoff of the day. He gets whacked pretty hard as he heads up the middle by Kenneth Harney. Harney has already got 3 tackles in this first quarter.
And the reason Ohio State's trying to run the football is South Carolina gave up 152 yards rushing versus Florida, and in the last game of the year they gave up 174 yards rushing to Clemson. So Ohio State feels like they have a better offensive line than both those 2 teams and feel like they can run the football.
This time Probert and Carter come to the near side as South Carolina showing blitz in the middle, and they come with the blitz. Belisari under pressure, dumps it off. This is Combs, and he will be stopped at the 26-yard line. The Budweiser.com airship is flying over the Outback Bowl here in Tampa today, providing college football fans with these spectacular aerial shots. This Bud's for you. This is a great stadium, Mike. Raymond James Stadium. And filled to capacity. Third down, and the Buckeyes need to take it out across the 30-yard line. Sanders and Cheapwood, the 2 tight ends. Swings this one out, complete. Rambo with his first catch, and he is going to be stopped short of the first down. Rambo playing with a broken bone in his hand, has it taped up and has a glove over it. He's going to come out of the ball game here as it's 4th down, and Ohio State's not going for this one. They're going to punt.
No, catching the football one-handed in practice. You can see he's really trying to cradle the football with the hand problem he has. but they need him in the lineup because he's a speed receiver and can stretch the field.
B.J. Sander in to punt for the Buckeyes. Ryan Brewer, the deep man for South Carolina. Sanders kick, end over end. Brewer will return it from the 34. And he will fight his way out to around the 47-yard line. Tackled there by Derek Ross. 40 on the kick and 12 on the return, so let's take a break. With 1:57 left in this opening quarter and still no score. Welcome back to sunny Tampa, Florida. Sunny but brisk. No score. Both offenses as cool as the weather right now. But South Carolina with good field position to start this drive out around the 47-yard line. Petty on the run, delivers it complete to the 45-yard line. Jermaine Kelly. Kelly was open for a long time. It seemed as though it took him a while to pick him up.
Jamal Kelly just going to run an out route. Petty rolling to the right. Brewer blocking for him. You see how wide open he is over there.
.604 yards, averaging just over 15 per catch. Petty is 3 of 4, 67 yards. Put it in the stomach of Brewer, pulled it out, ran the ball himself, and it's a first down by Petty. Tackled by Mike Dawson. It's a gain of 11 yards. Adrian Karsten, you got more on the stadium and this crowd today.
Very evident down here on the floor, Raymond James, that the fan support has to go to South Carolina. It's Gamecock heavy down here, Ron. When they were deciding who's going to be in this game, everyone at South Carolina said, you know, we can guarantee selling 30,000 tickets, but the executive committee, Outback Bowl, said we can only give you 27. Ohio State sold 12,000. They wanted to sell more. This is the same group of people from South Carolina. 1,000 people out for practice in the snow when they knew that they were coming to this game.
Corey Alexander on the carry right here, and he's going to be knocked down for a loss. You know, Adrian, it was a record-setting year for both of these teams. As far as home games, they increased the size of the shoe, and the largest crowd, 98,568. That was against Michigan. And for South Carolina, they had over 84,000 fans when they played Tennessee. So the fans of both of these schools really turned out in record numbers this year, as both schools had season records for home attendance as well. Here comes Ohio State on the blitz. Off the corner is Bullard. Pass is delivered. Got it complete. That is Brian Scott at the 10-yard line. First and goal, Gamecocks. 28 yards.
Ohio State continuing to blitz South Carolina, but not able to get to Phil Petty. He has forever and a day here. Picked up very, very well by the offensive line and the running backs, and Brian Scott open the middle. South Carolina in business.
That's the end of the first quarter. So we'll take a timeout. When we come back, the Gamecocks with a first and goal. The ball just inside the 10-yard line. As we head to the second quarter, South Carolina nothing and Ohio State nothing. So we start the second quarter, no score. And South Carolina, as you take a look at some of their faithful here, all the tickets Adrian was talking about that they purchased, South Carolina with 115 first quarter yards and 38 for Ohio State. Well, Pettit came out. Actually, he could have continued, but somebody in the offensive line moved as well, so it's going to cost him 5. And against this front 7 of Ohio State, Mike, making a little bit taller mountain to climb.
They're talking it over, Ron. I thought he came out in motion. I didn't see a lineman move, but I did see the back come in motion. That's exactly the way you want him to come out.
And here's what Mike is talking about as far as Pinnock coming in motion.
I didn't see anybody else move.
Well, I thought the right guard came out before the ball was snapped, but anyway, 5 yards stepped off against South Carolina. Crowd didn't agree with it. Back to the 14-yard line, 1st and goal. Pinnock on the draw. Not much there. Mike Collins, number 98, the junior out of Newark, Ohio, is there to make the hit on him quickly.
Andrew Pinnock is a big physical back, a fullback playing tailback. He had a career high 135 yards on 24 carries versus Vanderbilt, but they miss their home run threat, Derek Watson.
South Carolina with the no huddle. Now they got them spread out all over the field. Wide receiver to the bottom of the screen and 3 to the top. Middle screen and staying right at home, making the tackle.
Mike Collins.
Yep, Mike Collins was right there, and just as the receiver caught the ball, he ran right into him. As you look at Skip Holtz.
Mike Collins, the defensive nose guard, number 98, comes off the ball, read the screen right away. He leads all defensive linemen with 38 tackles.
You expect to see a linebacker in there, but you don't want to see a defensive tackle planted right there in the middle of the field, and that's what he got. 3rd down and goal. Petty got a man, lobs the pass, and it's overthrown, and a flag comes down. Johnson with the pressure, but I believe that's Joe Cooper. Did he push him or was he holding him, Mike?
I think it's going to be a non-catchable football anyway, and unless they get him for holding. Let's take a look at this and see if he did get him for holding. Corey Alexander was the receiver. Joe Cooper defending.
On the defense. After the distance. Automatic. Push down.
A tough call right there against Ohio State. Okay, he lost his balance. Phil Petty being able to break, contain. Here's contact in the secondary against receiver Carlos Spikes.
So a new set of downs for South Carolina. Here comes the option. Pitches it back to Brewer, and he is going to be hit and tackled at the 4. Mike Doss, we talked about when we did the starting lineups, is already off to a great start today. Carlos Spikes, the wide receiver, who also was a quarterback when he came to school, went under center that time and ran the option.
They had a play to Ron. Carlos Spikes needed to kick it out a little bit sooner to Ryan Brewer.
He remains at quarterback. Well, this time movement, I believe, Hart Turner, the freshman out of Spartanburg, South Carolina, came out of his stance and is going to be flagged for offsides.
You have to know the feeling that Ryan Brewer has down here. He'd love to score a touchdown out of Troy, Ohio. When he came out, Ohio State did not recruit him. They recruited 3 tailbacks that year. Richard Hall from Wyoming High School, Kelton Lindsey from Lebanon High School, who is now transferred to Cincinnati, and Jesse Klein from Upper Arlington, who has a back injury. So Ryan Brewer would like to stick it in the end zone right here and make the fans at Troy, Ohio, and happy.
8th play of the drive is started back at the 4.
Phil Petty's wide receiver.
Yeah, he's wide receiver. Spikes with the ball, and he is going to take it to around the 6-yard line.
Phil Petty's in the ball game, and the reason Lou Holtz will do this is because when you break the huddle, now you know that Phil Petty's in the huddle, but he goes out to wide receiver. He's out here wide and shows you the quarterback run.
This time Petty lines up in the shotgun.
Let's see if they try to get it to Kelly over here, number 84.
3rd down and goal, South Carolina. To the end zone, too far. Brian Scott, the intended receiver.
Good defense by Ohio State. Just South Carolina, not enough muscle to get it in the end zone when you get inside the 10-yard line. Ohio State with good defensive pressure here. Good coverage in the secondary.
So you got to take your hat off to the defense of Ohio State, because South Carolina had 6 cracks inside the 10-yard line and unable to get it in the end zone. They will have a 24-yard field goal attempt. Corsi missed one earlier from 34.
Ohio State looks like they're playing for a fake right here.
High pass. And this one is good. So South Carolina finally gets on the scoreboard. 7 plays inside the 10, and they knock home the field goal, 3-0. We'll be right back. So South Carolina goes on top 3-0 with 12:42 left in this opening half. The drive, 10 plays, 47 yards, 4 minutes and 15 seconds. But 3 years ago, ESPN introduced the 1st and 10 yellow line to the world of televised football. Today, we advanced that innovation by adding the red line. As we await this kickoff, the red line indicates Ohio State's average starting position after kickoffs. They were 4th in the country in kickoff returns, and the updated average 28.8. So let's see if they can bring it beyond that. From the 6. Jonathan Wells. And right about where they averaged for the season at 28.8 yards.
Got a good kick out on the kickoff return, Jonathan Wells, but good coverage by South Carolina.
Total yards, South Carolina 121, Ohio State 38.
It's almost like Ohio State on the first drive. The air went out of their system when they failed to get to 4th in the yard.
Two tight ends, play action by Belisari, and he's going to go on top with this one, and he has got Rambo too far.
He had 2 receivers open.
And let's check in with Reese Davis.
All right, Ron, down the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Tennessee, and Kansas State. Wildcats on the move, and it's Jonathan Beasley. The Big 12 South hasn't had much success in the bowls. In fact, just 1 win all time. But the Big 12 North's doing okay, and they're on top of Tennessee, 7-0.
You had snow on the field.
Yeah.
Snow last night at Shreveport. That part of the world has been hit just like the East. Belisari 4 of 5 for 9 yards. Rolls the pocket, throws it complete. And it's Darnell Sanders, sophomore tight end out of Warrensville Heights, Ohio.
Yeah, Steve Belisari looks a little bit better rolling out than he does dropping back. In a drop back attack, a left-handed quarterback rolled to his left, and Darnell Sanders, pretty big target at 6'6", 265. But 3rd down's been a little bit of a problem for Ohio State. Short yardage situations.
Which is surprising because of that big offensive line that outsizes South Carolina considerably.
Solid defensive line.
Pass complete, has the 1st down. Cheatwood, the tight end.
That's the respect that Chuck Stobart and John Cooper have for the front of South Carolina. Cleveland Pinckney, Caldwell, Dennis Quinn, and Kalimba Edwards. 3 yards to go, and they roll out to the right and pick up the pass play for the 1st down. It's always important in every ball game that you answer the other team's score. This is important for John Cooper, his Buckeyes, to answer the 3 points of South Carolina.
3-man rush by South Carolina. Kalimba Edwards comes off a down position, lines up at linebacker, and Cleveland Pinckney steps up and makes the hit on Derek Combs immediately. And that flag is going to be against the Buckeyes.
holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
NCAA basketball tomorrow on ESPN at ESPN2. 7 o'clock Eastern, Troy Murphy leads Notre Dame against number 13 Syracuse. That one on ESPN. And on ESPN2, Tayshaun Prince and Kentucky take on the Louisville Cardinals. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
Here comes the blitz.
Belisari looking for Rambo, incomplete. That was DeAndre Island who had to cover on him.
Ohio State trying to get the ball to their speed receiver, Kenyon Rambo, but good coverage by DeAndre Island, number 28, a freshman. Steve Belisari underthrew this football. DeAndre Island just staying with him step for step. Underthrown ball.
Well, now Derek Combs and Jonathan Wells in that backfield.
I think with the injury to Rambo, you're going to see more Darnell Sanders today, the big tight end in the passing game.
Quick pass to the near sideline. That's Wells, and he is hit immediately and tackled at the line of scrimmage. Shannon Wadley.
South Carolina frustrating Ohio State with their speed. Speed on defense. First in the SEC in scoring defense, giving up 15.8 points, 16th in the country in total defense. South Carolina, big turnaround. Charlie Strong, the defensive coordinator.
Third down. The line to make is across midfield at the 46-yard line of South Carolina. Belisari sets deep in the pocket. Pressure, and he is going to be sacked back at the 25. Cecil Caldwell. First time that they've gotten to him today.
And South Carolina continues to get momentum on defense. That was good coverage by South Carolina. Nowhere for Steve Belisari to go with the football.
Number 21.
B.J. Sander stands back to kick, waits for the snap at the 15-yard line. It's the second punt by Ohio State today. Brewer is the deep man.
I'm going to say he's only 30 yards deep, Ryan Brewer.
And he got his attention, got him to move back a little bit. Left footer's kick, and this is off the side of his foot. And is going to, well, didn't go out of bounds until it went inside the 35-yard line. So although he came across the ball, aesthetically it left a bit to be desired, but he got good results.
Close to blocking that.
29 yards on the punt. Let's take a timeout. 9:15 left in this first half. South Carolina 3-0. ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2001 Outback Bowl is presented by Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. And in part by Dodge and nearly 3,000 dealers who invite you to come see what's different. Part of this Raymond James Stadium up in the end zones. Not only food courts, but really nice area for the people, if they're not interested in the ball game, to either get food or go up there and relax. Petty rolls to the right. He's 5 of 7 throwing. And this one, well, it looked as though he's trying to throw it away, and Thomas Hill almost came up with the reception up at midfield. Adrian Karsten, let's check with you.
Ron, your question before kickoff, would Ohio State come to play? Well, I think the question is still unanswered, but I can tell you this. Yesterday we saw a rather ragtag walkthrough. Then right before kickoff today, the guys really straggled out of the locker room. They did not come out as a team. The captains weren't even at the front of the team as they came out. Now, John Cooper is doing the best he can to open up the offense when they have the ball, but still, very flat Ohio State Buckeye team here.
That opening series, they did have something going, and Mike's right. It's like somebody put a pin in the balloon after that. Petty with the screen. This is Brewer. Brewer across across midfield and tackled at the 48 after a gain of 18 yards. He's been a very valuable receiver.
He is, and every time he touches the football, he wants to make a statement that he could have played for Ohio State, but he was a Notre Dame fan. He was not an Ohio State fan coming out of high school. Here's the screen. They invite the defensive lineman in to get a very nice block out of Cedric Williams, number 76. Very good tackle, too, by Nicky, number 25.
Yeah, Donnie Nicky and Mike Doss, those two safeties.
I was going to say, good play calling by Skip Holtz, because he's got Ohio State's defense off balance with the play calling.
Petty, play action, blitz up the middle, and he just has to throw this one away.
A smart
Joe
move.
Cooper.
Smart move by Phil Petty, but that's the kind of quarterback he is. He doesn't get things done in a pretty way, but his receiver, his top receiver, Jamar Kelly, said, I wouldn't trade him for the world. They have a lot of belief in Phil Petty that he can get the job done.
3 wide receivers come to the right, which is the bottom of your screen. Petty looks over the Ohio State defense on a 2nd down and 10. Buckeyes creep up. They come with the blitz, and they run the play right there. Brewer gets by one tackler and is going to be tripped up after a gain of 5. And if he gets by the last one there, he may be gone. Clements finally got him.
Spread you out, then hit you with a draw. Ryan Brewer sets to the right, comes inside the blitz. The blitz came from the outside. Good tackle by Nate Clements. There's a fake by Phil Petty and hands the football off. And again, the play calling is affecting Ohio State's rush.
3rd down for the Gamecocks. They need to take it to the Buckeye 38-yard line.
Tell you how much respect they have for Jamal Kelly. Oh, they got 2 defenders over here playing with him. Now they're going to blitz.
Here comes the blitz right up the middle. Got it complete at the 21-yard line to kill it. 26 yards.
Ron, they had double coverage on him. They show you pre-snap double coverage, and they blitz. And they got Phil Petty reading it perfect. Here's the blitz inside. South Carolina picks it up. 1-on-1, Jamal Kelly against Nate Clements. And that's what you want.
So it's 1st down at the 16-yard line. Travis Lewis checks in at fullback. Brewer behind him, and he'll hand it straight ahead with Brewer. Wilhelm making the tackle for Ohio State.
Here's where South Carolina runs into trouble when they get inside the 15-yard line against this big Ohio State front. Got to figure a way to get it in the end zone.
So you have to keep an eye on the quarterback at this situation as well, because Carlos Spikes came in the last time they were inside the 20-yard line, but it's still Phil Petty's. He looks back, gets the play call from Skip Holtz on the sideline. And he's going to go for short yardage, maybe a gain of 3. David Mitchell there to make the stop.
You make a good point. Skip Holtz usually is in the press box. He came down today because he wanted to see the front of Ohio State and be able to make an adjustment from the sideline.
Mike, he's looking back over. He did it in the opening series. It's almost like a check with me at the line of scrimmage.
What he's doing is, as soon as he lines up, no huddle, sees what's Ohio State's in, then Phil Petty will look to Skip Holtz whether or not to get out of the play.
Shotgun formation. 3rd down. They need to take it to the Ohio State 6. Pumped it once, had a man open, and boy, had to get rid of it and threw it short, and he had him open.
Rodney Bailey with good pressure.
Yep. So here comes the field goal unit.
It's almost when he double pumped,
Yeah.
he couldn't get his arm back quick enough to make that throw.
Corsi to attempt the field goal. He's 1 of 2 so far.
Number 87.
Talk about Ohio State sitting here waiting for a fake.
Corsi, low pass, and it is going to be a fake. Brewer looking to throw, and he is going to be knocked down back at the 21-yard line.
They read it from the start, Ron. When you see, and they thought it was going to come the last time. I made the statement the last time. Ohio State wasn't going to rush the field goal attempt. They were looking for a fake. They were looking for a fake on this play. There's the snap. Lou Holtz thinking, you know, I can't keep getting field goals. I need a touchdown. Ryan Brewer, just nobody to throw to.
Rodney Bailey is the man who tackled him back at the 21. Will take a timeout. South Carolina 3-0. Today's Aflac trivia question. Lou Holtz has led a record 6 different schools to a bowl game, including the College of William and Mary, the only postseason appearance for that school. To what bowl did he lead William and Mary in 1970? We'll have that answer later on. Jonathan Wells comes in at tailback. They pitch it to him. Tries to turn the corner and nothing doing. I mean, South Carolina has really made some adjustments, and the Ohio State's having a heck of a time moving the football.
The speed of South Carolina's defense, and Ohio State wants to get 4+ yards on first down. They're not getting that at all. Now, they opened this football game with a 1-back offense and got some yardage on the ground, but they've since gone back to 2 backs.
Mike Langston Moore made that tackle. He lost his dad just a couple of weeks ago, and but it's a situation where he felt as though being around this football family would help him get through the situation easier. Pressure on Belisari, running for his life, and now he's got yardage. 25 at the 30, and he will have the Buckeye first down. Jonathan Martin makes the tackle. Reese Davis, let's check with you.
Ron, Casey Clausen hit David Martin for Tennessee to tie the Cotton Bowl at 7 against Kansas State, but boy, Jonathan Beasley has the answer. Look at this grab by Quincy Morgan, splitting the defense 56 yards. Wildcats up by a touchdown.
Well, not often that Tennessee defense gets picked on that way, but K-State having their way today. That run of 13 just a moment ago, it's the longest run by Ohio State today. As Wells breaks it to the sideline, 40, and it'll be stopped just short of the 45-yard line.
Jonathan Wells, the leading rusher the last 2 games, 160 yards rushing on 36 carries the last 2 football games. Little delayed draw. Gets a nice block from Jamar Martin, number 39, the fullback. Gets Kenyon Rambo in there blocking.
See, he threw his shoe, so he had to come out for a play.
There's Kenyon Rambo just kind of holding on for dear life.
Derek Combs in the lineup. High pass, they go with the option. Belisari is going to keep it, and it'll be across midfield and down to the 48-yard line. Cleveland Pinckney.
High snap again, you're right, and that just slows down the timing of the play. But this is what people feel that Steve Belisari does best. When he rolls out, runs the option, runs the football, that's when he's most comfortable.
About to hit the 3.5-minute mark until halftime. Straight ahead with Combs, and he will have the Ohio State first down. Now the clock will be stopped here, but they're going to have to start looking at using a timeout or two as this clock is getting on down from them.
I think they've got all 3 timeouts.
Right.
They've got a lot of time here, Ron. They need to put points on the board right here. South Carolina's defense needs to stiffen and not allow them.
Well, their first drive of the game was their best until this one right now. They pitch, and here comes the reverse. This is Rambo.
Rambo, the ball carrier.
Tackled at the 38 by Willie Offord.
I like what Steve Belisari does on this. Now, a lot of people really like his toughness. He leads the blocking here. Steve Belisari with the pitch, and here's the sweep. Belisari's downfield blocking.
6-yard pickup on it.
First junior to be named captain since 1984, Pepper Johnson.
2:57 left until halftime. Combs hit and knocked down. He may have lost a half yard in the play as Shannon Wadley is right there to make the hit on him.
The last series, Ron, that they had third down situation, they rolled Steve Belisari out. Let's see if they roll him out to the right and try to hit Darnell Sanders.
Cheatwood checks into the lineup at tight end.
4 yards to go.
And Jamar Martin, the fullback, comes to the sideline. Chad Cascio to the top of your screen, number 13. Throws it, and incomplete, and it's Cascio. And Mike, you know the reason why. The youngster already had a knockdown shoulder, got the other one knocked down. He is playing with a double harness on, and you can see he could not get his arms up. Boy, that's tough, because he was open. But he told him, he said, I'm going to play in the bowl game. I don't care if I do have 2 knockdown shoulders.
High snap again. The ball's just high. You see, he can't get his left arm up at all.
Yeah. Stoltz will have to punt it away.
South Carolina's just sitting in a punt safe. They do not believe Ohio State's going to kick this football. Matter of fact, they don't have anybody deep other than one player here. They're going to take to the delay.
On the offense, fourth down.
Now Ryan Brewer also, now they have sent him back as the deep man.
John Cooper figuring with 3 timeouts he can pin South Carolina inside the 10.
Driving spiral, and
forget it.
Yeah, wasted one here. He kicked it right into the end zone. Thought he had pooched it, and he pooched it 43 yards. So we will take a timeout as you get one more look at Cascio, unable to get his arms up because of the injured shoulders. 2:04 left until halftime. We'll be right back.
We're back in Tampa, Florida at the 2001 Outback Bowling with Bob Basham, one of the 3 original founders of Outback. Bob, after 6 years association with this game, you have to be happy.
Well, we couldn't be more pleased with our partnership with the ACC, I mean the SEC, the Big Ten, and ESPN. It's been wonderful. Got a great game here today, too.
We sure do. Now, with 3 new restaurants, where do you go from here as far as the game is concerned?
Well, after the game, I'm going to one of our Outback steakhouses, but I'd like to take this opportunity, Adrian, to thank all the Outbackers who work so hard across the country to allow us to be able to put on a game like this, take care of our customers, allow us to have put on a big game like this, and obviously ESPN as well. You guys have been great to work with.
Bob, so have you run in a restaurant whose claim is no rules, just right? Maybe next year, Aussie rules or boomerangs or something.
You play it, you coach.
Adrian, thanks a million. Bob, thanks to you. Most people cover this stadium early in the morning, and at halftime they bring around a steak and blooming onions. Unbelievable. First down on that running play. Now 1 minute and 50 seconds showing on the clock. And Brewer again with the draw. Breaks off the tackle, gets to the outside, and he'll be cut down. The first man to get there was David Mitchell. Reese Davis, let's check with you.
All right, Ron, Rod Gilmore and I are waiting on our bloomin' onion. In the meantime, we'll bring some Cotton Bowl highlights. Tennessee and Kansas State shooting it out. We'll have that for you at halftime. Also, the College Game Day gang checking in from Miami, getting ready for the Orange Bowl. Talk sugar as well. And in case you missed it during the New Year's Eve merriment, we'll bring you the fantastic finishes from last night. See you in just a bit.
All righty.
Reese and Rodney will have to go to the cafeteria.
Get a bloomin' something else. Petty under heavy pressure by Bailey. Got his pass away, and that was intercepted by Ohio State. Cortland Bullard.
That is pass intercepted.
Petty waited just a little too long.
That's good coverage by Bullard, who had 6 sacks in the last 6 games. He's been hot for Ohio State, and it comes up with a big turnover here. Number 58, Cortland Bullard.
See, he had him open.
You're right. He's just a little too late in delivering the football. Now Ohio State has to take advantage of this with their 3 timeouts left. A lot of people think he was out of bounds.
The folks from South Carolina certainly do. Belisari under pressure. He gets tagged at the 40-yard line. And that's Andre Offing, redshirt senior out of Houston, Texas, who makes the tackle. And a timeout taken by Ohio State. So we'll take it with them with 1:19 left until halftime. Three to nothing, South Carolina. ESPN Classic is the place to find movies for sports fans each Sunday night on Real Classics. This week, Chariots of Fire, winner of the 1982 Oscar for Best Picture, a true story of 2 young men of different backgrounds competing in the 1924 Olympics. Real Classics, 9 Eastern only on ESPN Classic.
Ron, early in the ball game, Darnell Sanders, the tight end, was a receiving target of Steve Belisari. See if he goes back to him, tries to find him.
High pass, going to be a quarterback draw, and good. Heavens, he ran right into Anthony Overstreet. Hello. Where did Anthony come from? One minute left until halftime.
Quarterback draw all the way. They had a stun on, a game on, and Anthony Overstreet came inside, was not blocked.
High pass from center. Belisari drills it, has it complete for the first down at the 24-yard line to Provett.
Provett is the receiver that took over for Germany from Warren, Ohio. Had 6 catches versus Michigan.
Game clock running down to 35, now 34.
Right guard, Tam Hopkins.
Ball start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Well, the answer to today's Aflac trivia question, to what bowl did Lou Holtz lead William and Mary in 1970? The Tangerine Bowl. They lost to Toledo 40-12.
Tangerine Bowl in Orlando, Florida. And grew into the Citrus Bowl. The Tangerine Bowl, Mid-American used to take on the SEC. Had a lot of success against them.
Belisari gonna be hit, and he'll be sacked. That's Kalima Edwards. 10 seconds showing on the clock, and they called a timeout.
Wasted a lot of time on that series. A lot of walking around for Ohio State. Watching the coaches on the sideline saying, you know, move and get up there.
We talked about who has a good time at bowl games. Well, of all the coaches, Lou Holtz, offensive coaches against the defensive coaches, after the walkthrough yesterday, they played a touch football game. This is something that Lou does every time they go to bowl game. Wow, Coach Holtz, whoa, goes down, and look at the kids on the sideline jumping up and down. He got a standing ovation for that effort. But they're loose. They came to have a good time, and right now they lead the ball game 3-0. And Ohio State has got 10 seconds. Let's look at the longest field goal. Now, Stoltz is 49 yards. They're going to go with a running play. Run out the clock. Jonathan Wells on the carry. Well, they get a timeout.
Set up the field goal. Tried to hit him on a draw just to get a little closer for Dan Stoltz.
So, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a look at this thing, Mike. I know that the longest that he has is 49. Career, I guess, actually is 55 yards against Indiana.
Good kicker.
47 yards in this attempt right here.
And you want to tell everyone, tell everyone. 47
South Carolina has completely outplayed Ohio State in this first half, and we may have a tie.
May have a tie going. Yeah, we were talking about that during the last time out. 47-yard attempt. Good pass. And wide to the right, no good. So it is halftime here at the Outback Bowl. With our score, South Carolina 3 and Ohio State nothing. And let's check in with Adrian.
Coach, with the exception of that first opening drive, nothing less than a frustrating first half for you today.
Well, we're not throwing the ball very well. We had Kenyon wide open on the stutter play, stutter and go. They're not going to let us run the football. They're playing an 8-man front, so obviously we got to put the ball in our quarterback's hands and throw it and catch it better than we're doing.
Well, early in the first quarter, you were making some yards on the ground with one back in the backfield. Do you go back and try that in the second half?
Yeah, we'll try some of that in the second half, maybe run a few misdirection plays.
We'll see you in about 20 minutes. Okay, Ron.
All right, Adrian, thanks. Great hustle there. 3-0, our score at halftime. And now with the Dodge different halftime report, here's Reese Davis and Rodney Gilmore. Gentlemen.
On the positive side, after the first half, your speed on defense has really kind of contained them.
Well,
3-0, the Gamecocks of South Carolina leading it here at halftime. On the field, the National Events Band Across America halftime show. Nearly 3,600 high school students with their salute to America the Beautiful. Beautiful halftime show here at the 2001 Outback Bowl in Tampa, Florida. And an absolutely perfect day, with the exception of Ohio State and their offense. And it's just been a situation of missed opportunities, Mike.
They really have. They have only had 3 plays of 10 yards or more, so they're not getting any big plays. They missed a opportunity on a 4th and 1, and they missed a field goal just before half. The opportunities are there for Ohio State. Here's the missed field goal by South Carolina. And then they tried to come back with a trick play off a field goal attempt, and they were sacked.
And the stats in the first half. Mike, the biggest thing that sticks out to me is Ohio State only 41 yards passing in the 8- and 9-man front that South Carolina's throwing up against them. They're going to have to be able to throw the ball better.
They really do have to, either that or spread out the 8-man front a little bit more. They did that early in the ball game.
Just a few moments ago, Adrian Karsten had an opportunity to talk to Lou Holtz as he came back on the field.
With Coach Lou Holtz, on the positive side, after the first half, Coach, your speed on defense has really kind of contained them.
Well, we're a good defensive football team, and we can run. We haven't forced them into a mistake yet, though. We have to do that on defense.
Right, now on the negative side, I think you have to get more production out of when you get inside the 20-yard line. You're not going to win this game on field goals, Coach.
Well, you sound like a comedian out of work. We're well aware we have to score. But we don't have many people to make a play. Plus, we've had 2 penalties in there.
we missed a field goal. They're an awful good defensive team. We get people in an open field one-on-one. The last guy makes a tackle, and somebody's got to make a play, but we will.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time. Ron?
Okay. Adrian, get some work.
Corsi has it teed up at the 35-yard line, and we're set to get this second half underway. 3-0, South Carolina. Jonathan Wells and Clements, the two deep men for Ohio State. And it's going to be Clements 2 yards deep, and they fake the reverse. Clements stays with the football, and he'll be tackled at the 22. And now here comes a flag from deep downfield. Nate Gary on the tackle.
Didn't get their average, but let's see what happens on the penalty. That helps get to the red line.
Flag on the play.
There's the face mask.
Yeah, and that was more than incidental, so it'll be a major penalty. Stepped off against South Carolina. So a positive thing for Ohio State as far as good field position to open the second half.
And I'm sure John Cooper challenged his football team at halftime. Ohio State's supposed to win this game. Fans expect them to win this football game. South Carolina's played a gutsy first half. And a South Carolina team that always seems to spend this year saying, you know, that everybody says, well, are they as good as everybody thinks they are? I'm impressed with South Carolina.
Wells is the tailback, and he'll get the handoff to start the second half, and there's that defense stopping the run again. Harney, Kenneth Harney Jr. out of Allensdale, South Carolina, and he has played a really good ball game. He's also a fiery type player. 6 tackles, 2 for a loss today, and we're just noticing when the teams came out in the second half that South Carolina came out bouncing, jumping up and down, and Ohio State just kind of walked into the stadium.
And Ohio State has to put some pressure on South Carolina.
Belisari in and out of the hands of Rambo. And you have to think with 2 good hands rather than the broken bone that he's having to endure, that he would have held onto that football easily.
We talked about it in the open. The goal of the football team in Ohio State is go to the Rose Bowl and play for the national championship. And that's the question you have to have or have to ask. Are they going to play in this football game? The first half, probably a mediocre performance.
27, Jerry Westbrooks comes in to the backfield. First time we've seen him. Belisari hit. Lost the football. South Carolina. That's what Lou Holtz was talking about with Adrian just a moment ago. He said, we haven't forced him into a mistake yet.
Adrian Clark got beat by Kalimba Edwards.
Pinckney makes the recovery.
There's the block by Adrian Clark. Kalimba Edwards just coming around the corner. Forces the fumble. Puts Ohio State's defense. Now we'll see if South Carolina can punch it in.
Mike, do you go on top on first down? See if you can get it in the end zone?
It's a good time because you just had a turnover. You expect your defense to be a little down.
Petty's going to run it. He'll have about 5 yards at the 23.5. Joe Cooper defensively.
And that's what Minnesota did this year to Ohio State. They came in to play Ohio State. They spread them all over the field, and then they got a good running game going. Miami of Ohio, early in the year, surprised Ohio State, spread them out a little bit, and had some success.
From the shotgun, puts it in the stomach of Brewer, and Brewer is hit from behind, almost knocked forward far enough for the first down. Ryan Pickett will make the tackle.
Good coverage again. You see Ohio State, what they're trying to do. They're making sure they got 2 on Kelly. They know he's the most dangerous receiver down here.
Ryan Pickett trying to have himself a good ball game here in front of the home folks. He is from Zephyr Hills, Florida, which is about 20 minutes from the stadium. Got a story to tell you about him in just a moment. As they go straight ahead with the running play, that's Pinnock, and he will go for short yardage, but I believe will have the first down. Yep, he does. They'll move the sticks. Pickett's mom told him to gather some of his friends and bring them to the house to eat. And he said his mom cooked for 2 days. And Adrian was standing there and he said, well, did you guys take the leftovers back to the hotel? And he looked at him and said, leftovers? There were no leftovers.
They can eat.
Yeah. $2.90 before the meal, $3.05 afterwards. Brewer inside the 15, down to around the 13-yard line.
Brewer stepped out of a tackle by Matt Wilhelm, the middle linebacker from Elyria Catholic High School, and put a good move there by Ryan Brewer.
Well, Brewer in that first half, as far as all-purpose yardage, had 129 yards.
Boy, he'd like nothing more to get in this end zone.
Whistles, and there was movement before the snap.
Outside, I believe it's Jermel Kelly, 84, the wide receiver.
Start on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
Mike, this is twice in the red zone that South Carolina has had the same mistake. They have had a motion penalty to move them 5 yards back.
See him right out here. He's moving.
Appreciate it.
Ohio State bringing in the extra defensive back on 2nd and long.
South Carolina needs to take it to the 7.5-yard line to pick up the first down. Here comes the reverse. Scott bumped out of bounds at the 11. Nate Clements on the stop.
Well blocked, and a good call again by Skip Holtz, the offensive coordinator, is calling this football game. Brian Scott coming around on the reverse, trying to slow down Ohio State's pursuit. See, Joe Cooper got caught inside. Nice tackle by David Mitchell.
Third down, South Carolina. Here's the option. Petty will keep it, and I'll tell you, he may have struggled enough to pick up the first down with that second effort. Ryan Pickett making the tackle for the Buckeyes, and it's first down, South Carolina.
Lou Holtz in all his past jobs have had some option in the offense. Even though Phil Petty's not a speedy guy, the option really affects the Ohio State defense. Now here's where it gets tough in the running game. Here's where they've had problems.
And Ohio State substitutes and puts some more beef on that front.
What's going to happen here, Ron? Jermel Kelly's going to get one-on-one at the top now.
Which is what they're looking for. But they run it back the other direction. Touchdown ball. I think it was the last thing that Ohio State thought they would do. They thought they would throw, particularly on first down, Mike.
Well, I'm sure Ryan Brewer, his heart is pumping right now. How do I look now to you? Ohio native, Troy, Ohio.
Former Mr. Ohio in football. Coursey with the extra point attempt. Kick is up, and he's good. So with 10:53 left in the third quarter, Ryan Brewer puts the Gamecocks up by a count of 10-0. And Lou likes what he sees. Ten to nothing, South Carolina, and we welcome you once again to the 2001 Outback Bowl with this gorgeous shot of Raymond James Stadium. Budweiser.com airship. Aerial ambassador of the King of Beers.
Ron, Ohio State needs a kickoff return badly. They need something to spark them because their offense is struggling.
Jonathan Rawls fumbled the ball, and he's not going to get close to the red line.
You worry about the focus of your football team when you go to a bowl. The
Garrison.
Concentration level, the focus of what you've got to get accomplished. South Carolina is outplaying them. They're playing harder than Ohio State.
Total yards, 214 South Carolina, 96 Buckeyes.
Against a defense that we thought was one of the better defenses in the Big Ten.
Derek Combs back into tailback. They'll give it to him. Tough run for about 5 yards, close to the 20. You know, Lou Holtz said that 3 days ago that he was not pleased with the focus of his team, and they kind of jerked them around a little bit and said, hey, we got to get these kids smiling a little bit more than they are. Get them loose.
But for South Carolina, this is a good trip. They were 0-11 last year, so they were looking forward to coming here. Ohio State Rose Bowl was where they wanted to be. They're not there, but they have not played like they want to be here today.
Combs, good tough run again, and he'll have the first down to move the sticks all the way out to the 28. DeAndre Island makes the tackle.
And that goes back to what we said in the open. Reggie Germany ineligible for this game. Matt Wilhelm questioning the leadership of one of the captains, Kenyon Rambo. Player coming in late, Combs. So John Cooper's had his hands full this week trying to get ready for this football game.
One offensive lineman suing another for an incident. Combs again, breaks off one tackle, going to be stopped finally at the 32-yard line. Willie Offord.
Backs may start suing these offensive linemen for not blocking.
Well, we've had a couple of games this year. There should have been multiple suits.
Call your lawyer.
Oh, my.
No, you block.
Cascio comes out of the ball game, and the big fullback Jamar Martin comes in.
Thought of that law firm, Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
Martin with the block, but backside Wadley makes the tackle on the running back, and nothing doing for the Bucks. Going to be third down.
This defense of South Carolina, they don't think Ohio State can score on them. They have confidence. You can see they're playing with so much confidence. Charlie Strong, the defensive coordinator, that used to be with Steve Spurrier down in Florida, and Notre Dame has really got his defense running around here.
Third down, line to make. They need to take it to the 38-yard line. 10-0, South Carolina leads. Belisari got it complete, very close to the first down as he got it to Darnell Sanders, the tight end.
I think he's got the first down.
Darnell Sanders.
Sanders was the receiver in the first quarter that was catching some passes. It's just an option route where he just sits down at the chains.
Cecil Caldwell really blasted Belisari as he delivered the ball.
Still figure that Kenyon Rambo has to get something big for Ohio State here.
Sanders now with 3 catches for 19 yards. High pass from center. Belisari's going to step up, and oh, does he get tagged by Offord. Willie Offord with a shoulder high hit, and Belisari went the other direction.
4 tackles for losses this year for Willie Offord. Very steady linebacker. 6'1", 210. Again, a lot like the SEC defensive linebackers, fast, can run.
Edwards showing blitz, stayed at home. Belisari holds on to it, gets his pass away, and it's complete to Sanders, and knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line.
Number 89, Darnell Sanders.
That's where Steve Belisari is most comfortable. faking the football and then rolling to the left side. And his tight end has become his leading target because of Germany not here. Kenyon Rambo with the injured hand. They've got to go more to Darnell Sanders.
Highland is the man who made the tackle. Good thing that he went to the underneath man rather than the deep man, because that wide receiver had run over the defensive back and shoved him down. High pass from center. Here comes the option. Belisari pitches it back to Combs. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Faison, number 11. Also Harney is out there to help out.
That high snap takes away the timing of the option because it's just too slow getting there. He's got to jump for the ball. And then when you look on the other side, you got Cecil Caldwell. Here's the high snap again, so he doesn't get started at the right time. Cecil Caldwell, Dennis Quinn, Cleveland Pinckney, and Kalimba Edwards. Very good front to run against.
Second down. Belisari drills this one and incomplete. Ohio State wants a flag. Rambo got sandwiched, but there will be no flag. Sheldon Brown is the man who made the play.
Sheldon Brown is as good as they come in the defensive backfield. Third-team All-American. He's from a small Class A high school, Louisville High School in South Carolina. That was good coverage.
10th play of the drive for the Buckeyes. Third down. They need to take it to the 35-yard line.
Get the tight end really split out wide to the left.
Belisari got a man. Dropped it. Drew Carter, freshman, couldn't hold on. He was looking back into a tough sun. Now this is a very high sky right now. But I mean, Belisari threw that thing perfectly.
He did. He put it right on the money. Steve Belisari working his second receiver in against Faison. Just couldn't hold on. Perfectly thrown football.
It really was. Faison was beaten on that play. Stoltz prepares to punt this one. Ryan Brewer is the deep man. Wobbly spiral, and no fair catch is called for. Brewer at the 10-yard line. Gets by the first tackler, but not by the second. And it'll be a return of about 5, maybe 6 yards. Cortland Bullard downfield on the special teams. 35 on the kick and 5 on the return. We'll take a break. 6:17 remaining third quarter. 10-0 Gamecocks. ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2001 Outback Bowl is presented by Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. And in part by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built for tough. And by the St. Paul Companies. Property and liability insurance for business. Without question, the St. Paul. Some of the over 30,000 South Carolina fans who made their way from Columbia. Brewer. 10, 15. Finally hit and knocked out of bounds by Mike Doss. Well, what a story. 25 yards on this carry right here. Should South Carolina win this ball game, the head coach suspends their best running back, who is well over 1,000 yards in a year, and a young fella named Brewer gets to be the thorn in the side of his home state school.
When you talk to coaches, they say he's not tall enough, not fast enough, but boy, is he productive.
Gives it to Brewer again, right into the heart of the defensive wall. Rodney Bailey is there to put the stop on him after a gain of only 1.
With Watson and Pinnock and Brewer, they decided to move Brewer to a wide receiver this year. He had 33 catches, 1 touchdown. He lost his running back position, but when they suspended Watson, they moved him back, and he's been the go-to guy tonight.
He really
today.
has.
And they say about Watson could take it to distance anytime he touches the ball, but I've been impressed with Brewer.
Here comes the blitz. They roll the pocket, and he's just going to throw this one away because good coverage in the secondary by Ohio State. Bailey was the man who was chasing him. Put one other thing down by Brewer's name. I don't know if we'll see it here today, but the coaches also said keep an eye open because when Petty is walking up and down the line like he's doing an audible, that Brewer will reset another yard back, and they'll snap at him, and he quick kicks.
Well, he's thrown a pass. He's caught a pass, I believe. He's running. He's lined up as a wide receiver, so he's done a lot of things today.
Career high as far as carries for him, 13, 59 yards. Going to go on top on this one. Looking for spikes. Couldn't come down with it.
Ohio State wanted pass interference on Carlos Spikes, but they're not going to get it.
Richard McNutt with the cover on that one. So it's 4th down, and the Gamecocks are going to have to give it back to the Buckeyes.
Good coverage by McNutt, and I believe Carlos Spikes could have been called there. Phil Petty airing one out after taking a hit from Mike Collins.
Tyler Dean about to kick it away to Clements.
Something in the kicking game is going to have to spark Ohio State because defense playing lethargic.
Wobbly spiral. Clements gets by a couple of people, looks for his wall, gets by Brewer, and he is forced out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Goodman is the man that forced him out, and if he does it, there was nobody left. Last line of defense. Timeout on the field. 5:06 remaining, 3rd quarter. Gamecocks by 10. 10-0 South Carolina, and today's Morgan Stanley Dean Witter well-connected storyline. South Carolina 7 points off OSU fumble. Total yards 240 to 137. Ryan Brewer, South Carolina, 141 all-purpose yards and a touchdown. Belisari rolls the pocket. Got him. Got a man open. And there's Rambo. At the 5 and tackled at the 1. 63 yards.
They caught South Carolina on an out and up for a big play. Steve Belisari sold it. Kenyon Rambo sold it on the route and beat the corner, ran right by him. Here he goes. Here's the out. Now he beats him. Kevin House, number 29. Then you see the speed of Kenyon Rambo.
Tackled finally by Offord and Island.
That was a good tackle by Offord to save the touchdown.
1st and goal from the 1-yard line. Wells is the tailback. They give it to him. Martin blocking, nothing doing. Langston Moore wanted the first man to hit him from behind, actually, as it was stacked up over on the right side.
They beat Ohio State badly on that left side of the offensive, or the right side of the offensive line. Left side of the defensive line for South Carolina got penetration. Watch as the defensive linemen come up inside. And they forced that play. They got penetration. Tailback had no place to go.
First time for Ohio State inside the 20-yard line. Pitch. Touchdown Wells.
Looked like a busted play. The way Steve Belisari came out there, it was a delayed pitch. Good run by Wells.
The Stoltz will try to make it a 3-point ball game at the 3:51 mark. Knocks it home and will take a timeout. 3:51 left in the third quarter, and the Buckeyes offensively come to life. With our score now, the Gamecocks 10 and Ohio State 7.
Delayed pitch, but a great effort by Jonathan Wells. Ron, that was set up. The good punt return came back. They got the big play from Belisari to Kenyon Rambo, and a great effort by Jonathan Wells. Ball's out.
But he had crossed the plane. You're right, but Ohio State was right there to recover it.
Wells is doing his job to try to get this team fired up. And that's what Ohio State has to do. They got to put some pressure on South Carolina.
World Golf Championship action tomorrow night on ESPN. It's the opening round of the Accenture Match Play Championship from Melbourne, Australia. Defending champion Darren Clark takes on a field of the world's top 64 golfers. Coverage begins 9:30 Eastern with a preview show. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
That was very close of whether he got in the end zone. Let's take another look at it.
He's over right there. And he recovered it, though, along with an offensive lineman, so moot point. Corey Alexander tackled at the 25-yard line.
Now Phil Petty's got to answer the score. Keep his offense on the field a little while. Phil Petty, a steady quarterback. And when they made the move to go to the spread, it made his decision-making process a little easier, because all of a sudden they have to move people around and cover people, so you get a better read on the defense.
Well, they have a new tailback in the ball game, Smith. Trevin Smith, he's a freshman out of Moncks Corner, South Carolina, and a speedster. And they put it in his stomach, and we'll get a look at him. First time this afternoon. Almost a gain of 15 yards on his first carry. Nicky is there to make the stop.
Draw has hurt Ohio State. Again, you go back to the spread. Minnesota had success against Ohio State, spreading them out, running the draw. Missed tackle by Joe Cooper.
Officially, we have just been told that they gave the touchdown to Mike Gurr, the offensive lineman, who was there to recover the fumble. Petty will keep this one. Got whacked hard by Nicky, who came up from that safety position.
That's the second part of the draw. You fake the draw, and then you run a draw with the quarterback, Phil Petty. What that's going to do, if Ohio State continues to have problems with that, they've got to get another man in the box to stop the draw, which is going to open the passing game.
Second down at about 2.5. Petty keeps it. Didn't fool anybody. He's going to lose a half yard. That's Cortland Bullard, who has been consistent today. And might should have given it that tailback up into the line.
He's been steady. You're talking about Cortland Bullard. 6'3", 227. Had the interception in the first half. Stayed at home on that draw.
Well, they bring Brewer back into the lineup. Trevin Smith goes to the sideline. Petty just throws this one away. Johnson and Bailey, the two men on the outside, the two defensive ends, were the ones who were pressuring Phil Petty.
That play was a screen to Ryan Brewer over the middle, but because Ohio State got so much pressure, they forced Phil Petty out of the box. Here's Brewer, number 21. He's right there for the screen, but Phil Petty can't get the ball to him because of the pressure.
Nate Clements, the deep man for the Buckeyes. Dean, the punter, best kick of the day. High-hanging spiral, and it'll head into the end zone as Clemens made the decision to let it go. Be sure to catch College Game Day's BCS Championship preview on Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern from Miami. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit with the last word on the Sooners and the Seminoles before kickoff of the 2001 FedEx Orange Bowl. Chris Winkie leads Florida State against Josh Heupel in Oklahoma, but the BCS Championship coverage begins at 8 Eastern on ABC. Now Derek Combs will come in on this series at tailback. Swing pass to Combs, and a great quick reaction on the outside as Jonathan Martin makes the tackle. Reese Davis, what do you have for us?
Well, I still have Kansas State just carving up that Tennessee defense. Josh Scobie getting the pitch from Jonathan Beasley, and any volunteers participating in the highlight. 28-14, K-State's up.
Our score, 10-7. Ohio State trailing South Carolina. Gain of 4 on that last play as Belisari retreats to throw. Straight back in the pocket, in and out of the hands of Provitt.
And Vanessa Provitt had that ball in his hands, just couldn't hang on. Running the short post. After both tight ends cleared out, Sheldon Brown was on coverage, number 24.
Third down, and Ohio State needs to take it to the 30. Pressure, and he is going to be sacked at the 20. Kalima Edwards.
Charlie Strong with the right defensive call. Kalimba Edwards, who has played the linebacker, he goes down in a 4-3. Just comes forth and makes a play.
So Sander will come in to kick it away for Ohio State.
Steve Belisari trying to get out of the pocket.
Only the third punt of the afternoon for Sander. And the left footer is not going to get this one to turn over. Brewer is run into by his own man, and a flag comes down. Ohio State will recover the ball at the 27-yard line.
Ohio State's going to be called here.
Yeah, I think here's the interesting thing. I think he pushed the blocker into it. Alford is the man that got pushed in to Brewer.
Personal foul. Kick catch. Interference with contact. 15 yards. First down.
Big penalty. What happens in bowl games, Ron, is the NCAA gives different conferences the officials. This is a WAC group here today, so none of the coaches know the officials. But I think that was a good call.
Yeah, he did come around the blocker and started the tackle before the ball got there. So it cost him 15 and a good starting point for South Carolina. Petty hit just as he delivers the ball, and there's nobody around. Joe Brown, number 73, a senior out of Tucson, was all over Petty.
John Cooper is really arguing the point that it should be intentional grounding. He is working on the officials.
7 seconds left in the third quarter.
It's about Jamal Kelly time.
Alexander whacked down hard, but it is close to the first down. In fact, he is going to have it, and that is the end of the third quarter. So let's take a timeout. Brewer, who scored the only touchdown for South Carolina, has the first down.
The 2001 ES.
South Carolina 10-7 as we head into the fourth quarter. And Mike, I want to say a special hello to Colonel Ken Rozalski and the guys at Kunsan Air Force Base in South Korea. They are all up and watching this ball game. Ken has worked as a spotter on Thursday nights and has done a number of events with ESPN. So, Colonel, to you and your guys at Kunsan Air Base in South Korea, Happy New Year to you, and glad to have you watching from that part of the world. Well, Trevin Smith, the speedy freshman, comes back into the lineup. Number 6. He's the lone setback, and they'll give it to him off the right side. Smith tripped up as he goes inside the 30, and let's check in with Adrian.
Even though we started the day at 34 degrees, got up to 40 by the end of the first half, and now we're at 51, almost 52 degrees. You wouldn't think that fatigue would be a factor because it's been so cool. Unless you're Ryan Brewer, the workhorse and potential all-star of this game. He is going to get some spot time here in the fourth quarter for the final 8 to 10 minutes of the long haul, Ron.
Okay. Well, he's been quite a story in this one, Adrian. They set up a screen, and it goes to Brewer. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Brewer. His second of the day.
A beautiful call by Skip Holtz. They hit them with the screen pass. Ryan Brewer, well blocked. See blockers out in front. Number 2, Mike Doss, turning it inside, blocking downfield. And Ryan Brewer, a storybook game.
I started to say, this would have been too gaudy to have scripted it this way. Kelsey with the extra point is good. 14-17 left in our ball game, and take another look at it. Brewer scores 17-7. Gamecocks. Let's take a break. Welcome back to sunny Tampa. 17-7, South Carolina on top. Just over 14 minutes to play in our ball game. Corsi about to kick it off to either Wells or Clements. Going to come down to Clements at the 10.
Didn't get back to the average start in the red line. So South Carolina special teams winning that battle too.
Elam on to tackle for the special teams.
Think of Ryan Brewer, what's going through his head today, and the play calling by Skip Holtz has been marvelous because it's kept Ohio State's defense off guard all day.
From the 26. Makes it to Combs. Belisari going to go deep. And it is incomplete. Rule Goodman almost guessed wrong on his leap.
And that's where you miss Reggie Germany and Kenyon Rambo being hurt. But Vanessa Provitt should have had this football again. He's had 2 drops.
Well, Mike, he catches that thing. He takes it to the house, doesn't he?
Andre Goodman on the coverage. Took his eye off the football. South Carolina can slam the door shut here as they stop him.
Belisari gets it to Sanders, his tight end. Takes 3 people to knock that big fella down. And Reese Davis, let's check back with you.
Okay, Ron, just up the road from you guys, another Big Ten SEC matchup in the Citrus Bowl, Auburn and Michigan. Wolverines, a little trickeration. Drew Henson looking for David Terrell. might have gotten away with a little push there, and the Wolverines on top by a touchdown in the first.
Drew Henson might go into as one of the leading candidates for the Heisman next year this season.
Such a steady force for them.
Gifted quarterback.
Very nice young fellow, too. Got this one out in the flat, and flag comes down as it's dropped by Cheatwood.
It's got to be against Ohio State for lining up wrong. Maybe a receiver was covered.
Pass interference on the offense. 15-yard penalty. Repeat. First down.
And I don't need to tell you, John Cooper is not a happy camper right now.
See if we can find it in here in this replay. May have been a push off by the receiver. Ohio State continuing to dig a hole.
First and 25. Belisari deep over the middle. Intercepted. Island. Rambo couldn't hold on to it. It went right into the arms of Island. That's the tip drill right here.
A frustrated offense. Been frustrated all day, and you got to give the credit to Charlie Strong and his defensive unit. Kenyon Rambo, the intended receiver, just an outside of outstretched hands, but couldn't hold on.
Well, Lou Holtz said at halftime when Adrian talked to him, we have not made them turn the ball over. We have not made them make a mistake, but we will. And here's another one. Let's see if they get points off this. They scored one touchdown off an Ohio State fumble. Trevin Smith banged hard at the line of scrimmage after a gain of a couple by Joe Cooper. Adrian Carson back down to the sideline. What do you have for us?
Charlie Strong tells of the day right after the Clemson game last year, the very same day, as a matter of fact, Ron, when Beth Holtz, Lou's wife, was declared clear of cancer. Lou comes in, slams his fist down on the table and said, look, with you or without you, we're going to turn this program around. If you want another job, I'll help you get it. But the players, the coaches are going to go with me, and we're going to turn this program around. He says, ever since then, that was the coach I'd won the national championship with at Notre Dame. New spring in his step this year, Ron. Well,
Charlie's an impressive guy, and this defense, as Mike has said several times,
they're impressive.
They really are. On second down, Petty. Got it complete after all of that. Kelly finally got away from a defender, and I'll tell you, Ohio State had them blanketed. Every receiver was covered, and covered well.
And to go back to what Adrian Carson talked about, Ohio State's defense looks like they're tired a little bit. They're not getting any pressure on Phil Petty. He's got all day to sit back here and get something to happen. And a good receiver, Jamal Kelly, always come back to the quarterback.
Melvin Page, number 72, right tackle, did a nice job of blocking, as did Brewer, helping out his quarterback, and thought he was running for his life. And they moved the sticks. Brewer puts a head down, and he's going to have a gain of about 3, maybe 4 in the play. Ryan Pickett making the stop for Ohio State, and a discussion in the secondary as some players having to be separated.
7 yards to go after the 3-yard gain.
Virginia Tech
playing Clemson, the other team in South Carolina. Skip Holtz calling the play from the sideline again.
They're going to run the option. Pitches it out to Brewer. Has the first down as he turns the corner. Going to be tackled by Cooper. And a flag came in at the 25-yard line. It's a gain of 14. It's going to go against the Gamecocks.
Either way, Ryan Brewer has had a day he will not forget for a long time. Been the center of the offense, catching a pass out of the backfield early in the ball game for a big gainer. Coming back, running the toss sweep, getting in the end zone for the first touchdown, catching a screen pass against Ohio State. Secondary and getting in the end zone for the second time. Troy, Ohio.
You know, that penalty from the spot is going to push it back and now make it a 2nd down and 11. And they come with the reverse. This is Corey Alexander. Nice job defending is Derek Ross, and he'll tackle him for a loss.
That was a good tackle by Derek Ross, because if he doesn't make that play, that's a big play.
Corey Alexander's an interesting kid. He has great speed, but doesn't catch the ball that well, so that's the reason they hand the ball to him and use him on sweeps and reverses. Ohio State shows blitz. They go with the run, and here's Moore. Has 5, has 10, 15, still on his feet, and he'll take it 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. 21 yards in the carry. Cooper and Clements combining on the stop.
A guessing game for the defensive coaches of Ohio State. They're not guessing right, because South Carolina, with again good play calling, hit them with a draw. You see how much it opens up inside. Nobody there. Ryan Brewer into the secondary.
You know, Mike, one of the things that we were told coming into the ball game, one of the giant concerns was the offensive line of South Carolina. Laurel Johnson moving to center has been huge as far as South Carolina is concerned, and this offensive line has done a good job.
Oh, they've done a great job. It's going to be against Ohio State, a substitution.
Infraction. 12 men on the defense. 5-yard penalty.
And the wheels are coming off.
Down.
Thinking about Ryan Brewer, Ohio State, if you're a fan in Ohio and sitting there in snow outside, you're thinking, why is this guy not at Ohio State? You can't take them all. There's some great players in Ohio, and you take them all, you go to jail.
16 carries, 89 yards, and a touchdown. All of those are career highs for him. Straight ahead with the running play this time, and it's Penn.
That's the toughest thing in the state of Ohio for John Cooper's. So many good football players. Evaluation is very, very important.
Second down and about 2 yards to pick up the first. This is the 8th play of the South Carolina drive. They give it to Pinnock straight ahead. Penetration that time by Ohio State by Ryan Pickett. And he is going to lose. Well, they're going to say he did gain a yard on the play. It'll be 3rd down.
Ohio State needs to make a play on defense here if they have any shot at winning this football game. Now South Carolina huddling a little bit, taking more time off that clock. Today, 173 rushing yards against Ohio State. Spread has hurt them.
The amazing thing is all without Derek Watson, too. Pennock hit at the line of scrimmage, continues to fight, and he'll have the first down at the 4. Wilhelm making the tackle. Good blocking on that right side by Johnson, Fry, and also Page. And Adrian, let's check with you.
Ron, you just made the point without Derek Watson. There are players on this team who would say, you know what, we think as a team we need to win without Derek Watson, a man who did get in trouble, but yes, also our 1,000-yard rusher. But part of the salute to that entire offensive line, to Petty and, of course, to Ryan Brewer, goes to the fact that they did it without the 1,000-yard rusher. Similar to the situation like the Arkansas game where Lou Holtz was not hesitant to suspend 2 other players.
Yeah, in that bowl game against Oklahoma. Brewer hit in the backfield. Oh, he's tackled with a face mask. So that was it. Now there is a fight that has broken out at the goal line. Mike Doss made the tackle, and this was vicious. You see face mask and face mask, but it was like he was trying to hurt him. He could be ejected for that and probably should be.
There are multiple fouls. Offside on the defense. Refused. Personal foul. Face mask on the defense. Half the distance. Automatic. Touchdown.
Continuing the conversation about the offensive line. Laurel Johnson moving him from left guard to center. They had a month to do it. And how about C.J. Fry, the right guard, as you look at this play again, and there's the tackle, and he just kept pulling him down with the face mask. That should have been an ejection. I'm sorry. You could break a guy's neck like that. And you know what you're doing. Pinnock gets the ball. Stopped at the 1-yard line. Did not get in to score.
Pinnock's a bull. 6 foot, 245-pound sophomore.
Mike, they keep running behind Fry. And, you know, interesting story. His dad is the track coach at South Carolina. Very good track team up there. Johnson comes out over the football at the 1-yard line. 11th play of the drive. Started at the Ohio State 45 following, and that is a fumble right there. Following a turnover, and Pinnock got on the football here.
Somewhere underneath that pile is Mike Collins. They got good penetration on that play. Joe Cooper in on that play, and here comes Ryan Brewer back in the ballgame. Fumbled the snap right from the start. South Carolina fans applauding Brewer.
Third down. Pitches it to Brewer. Turns the corner. Touchdown. Number 3 of the afternoon.
Penalty flag.
Might be on Joe Cooper, the penalty. Ryan Brewer, he's going to remember this football game for all his life. 3 touchdowns against his home state football team. Well blocked. They're going to call Joe Cooper for hitting him about 4 yards deep in the end zone.
Brewer popped right up, headed for the sideline. Wants no part of that kind of stuff. He's having too much fun winning this football game. Ohio State has really lost their poise in the last few minutes of this ball game.
Have played with not a lot of intensity today.
Good pass. Percy's kick is up, and it's good. So let's take a timeout. They grabbed him with the face mask, wouldn't let go. He came back and ran the sweep, took it into the end zone, and they're standing and cheering him right now because he may be from Ohio, but right now he could run for governor of the state of South Carolina and probably win in a landslide, which is what the Gamecocks are doing. ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2001 Outback Bowl is presented by Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. And in part by Buick and your local Buick dealers. 24-7, South Carolina leading. And these beautiful shots right here from the Budweiser.com airship. Proud to provide you with these live shots 1,000 feet above Raymond James Stadium in the 2001 Outback Bowl this New Year's Day. Kelsey's kick. And Clements 2 yards deep in the end zone will return it. 25 and going to be ridden out of bounds at the 29. Well, it's time for you, the viewers, to go online and help us select today's player of the game. Here's the list of nominees. From South Carolina, Ryan Brewer, Phil Petty, Kalimba Edwards, and for Ohio State, Steve Belisari, Rambo, and Clements.
Drop them all.
So log on to ESPN.com now. Cast your vote. We'll announce the winner in the next few minutes.
Trying to think of Bob Ferguson, running back for Ohio State in the 50s or 60s, was from Troy, Ohio, where Ryan Brewer's from.
Belisari lobs this one over the middle and has it complete. Let's check in with Reese Davis.
Okay, Ron, back up to the Citrus Bowl. Auburn and Michigan after the Drew Henson and David Terrell touchdown pass on 3rd and 8. Ben Leard has an answer. Beautifully thrown ball to Ronnie Daniels. Auburn and Michigan tied at 7 in the second.
This pass thrown incomplete. Intended for Cascio.
Ben Laird would like to have a game to go out his senior year in style. Ran into Archie Griffin back here, Ron, and I'm going to say hello to Jimmy Crum, the announcer, the legendary announcer for Ohio State for many, many years. People in Ohio grew up to Jimmy Crum. Grew up with him.
Draw play to Jonathan Wells. Wadley is the man who is there to make the tackle. Clock running down. We have 5.5 minutes left in the ball game. It's checking the sideline again. Adrian Carson.
Another boyhood story, this time from East Liverpool, Ohio. Young man grew up cheering for Notre Dame and Ohio State. Won the national championship at both, with Woody Hayes at Ohio State in 1968, then Lou Holtz, of course, in 1988 after the 88 season at Notre Dame.
Belisari for the far sideline, just a little too far.
And this is a big win for South Carolina to take into spring practice and next fall. Now they lose some key players. They lose Cleveland Pinckney and Cecil Caldwell, but they got a lot back. Phil Petty will be back, and of course Ryan Brewer.
I start saying, Ryan, you got to start with his name, don't you?
If they play anybody from Ohio, Ryan Brewer is dangerous.
Good high hanging kick. Fair catch is signal for and is made by Brewer at the 26. So Sanders' kick is 34 yards. Take a timeout. 5 minutes exactly left in this 2001 edition of the Outback Bowl. We'll be right back. (24-7) South Carolina, and the South Carolina band enjoying this one. Coming up Sunday on ESPN National Hockey Night from Joe Louis Arena, Patrick Waugh and the Colorado Avalanche taking on Brendan Shanahan and the Detroit Red Wings, 8 o'clock Eastern. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Trevin Smith takes it for a couple of yards. Will Smith Defensively, number 93 out of Utica, New York. Big freshman at 6'3", makes the tackle.
You were looking at Skip Holtz there. He would be my second choice for player of the game. He's done a marvelous job of keeping Ohio State off balance with his play calling.
Running that clock down just as far as he can. Smith again. Not going to be able to spin off those tacklers in the middle. He'll take it just shy of the 30-yard line, and that'll be 3rd down, and they'll need about 6. Ohio State uses their first timeout, so we'll take it with them. 4:14 left in the ball game. Gamecocks 24-7. (24-7) South Carolina. You don't have to be Lou Holtz to know that when you go 0-11, there's not many directions you can go from there.
When you get down, you have 2 alternatives: either lay there or get up. Now, nobody's going to help you get up. Georgia isn't going to call and say, "Gee, I know you got a problem with quarterback. We got 3. Let us send you over 1." I mean, you just have to fight your way up, and that's what our players have learned, and we have done it. We aren't where we want to be. We aren't where we ought to be. We aren't where we're going to be. But thank God we aren't where we used to be.
Well, the biggest turnarounds following winless seasons. You see Hawaii at 9-4, Florida at 8-4. That was in '80, and South Carolina about to go 8-4.
And June Jones took that Hawaii team.
Corey Alexander in motion, and they give it to him, and he tries to turn the corner, but Derek Ross out there to push him out of bounds.
Another thing I've been impressed with today about South Carolina, their wide receivers blocking. They stay with their blocks. Defensive backs from Ohio State's had a hard time getting off the blocks of the wide receivers.
Well, Alexander did Ohio State a favor there because he didn't go down before he got out of bounds, and it stops the clock, and they also get the punt.
South Carolina's defense, I don't know if it matters.
The punt. Flag is down. I think we're going to have a second flag. We've got flags all over this field as the return by Clements is going to come out to the 34-yard line. Goodman pushed him out of bounds.
Play Willie Oliver on the tackle.
Well, what happened, Ron, was Ohio State was slow getting off the field. So they may call Ohio State for having too many men on the field. They were jogging off the field.
Then the hat that was thrown was because he had already thrown his flag for the 12 men, and so he threw his hat because South Carolina was too close to the receiver.
Yeah, you see these defenders just moving too slow, and I'm sure that's going to be the call. Now, what's the other call? I don't know.
Didn't give him the 2-yard barrier, I believe, Mike.
Substitution infraction on the defense. Non-contact interference with the opportunity on the kicking team. The penalty's offset. We'll replay.
So with 3:58 left to go in the ball game, we'll get another opportunity to get a punt coverage team out on the field.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
Well, the officials on both sides are really catching it now.
That's when you know you're doing a good job.
Yeah, that's
Both
right.
of them get after you. Net punt average is 34.5 for Ohio State. Let's see if they can improve on that with our red line.
Here's Clements, fumbles the ball, recovered by Ohio State. The blocker was right there. He'd been running with the gunner, and Richard McNutt got on the football. 42 yards in the punt. Well, NCAA basketball tomorrow on ESPN and ESPN2. 7 o'clock Eastern, Troy Murphy leads Notre Dame against 13th-ranked Syracuse. And over on ESPN2, it is Tayshaun Prince and Kentucky meeting the Louisville Cardinals. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Krenzel comes in at quarterback, throws a pass on his very first snap, and they almost break it open. That was Jonathan Wells that he got the ball to.
John Cooper run is 111, 42-4 at Ohio State. But this is going to be a tough offseason. I think John Cooper's going to have to really look at restyling his offense with Steve Belisari.
Pass complete to Ricky Bryant.
I'm sure the off-the-field problems that have plagued them during this trip, Reggie Germany not making it eligibility-wise, Kenyon Rambo being criticized by Matt Wilhelm, all things that you're going to have to go back to the ball club and set some standards that they have had at Ohio State under John Cooper. John Cooper's won in every place he's been.
Got this pass complete to Westbrooks, and he's going to take it across midfield and down to the 41-yard line. Clock stops with the first down at the 3:23 mark. Kenneth Harney making the tackle for South Carolina.
The biggest problem they're going to have is, again, offensively. Steve Belisari being the quarterback. Now you see they've got two good redshirt freshman quarterbacks.
Goes on top for this one, and it is intercepted by South Carolina's Island, DeAndre Island. The second interception by the freshman from Tupelo, Mississippi.
Charlie Strong with a very good defensive plan against Ohio State. Of course, here you're just trying to make up and get something big to happen, throw into coverage, and Island picks off the interception.
Second one for Island.
Good job coaching by South Carolina. Both coordinators with good plans, which the entire staff put together.
Brewer sneaks his way through a small opening, takes it out across the 10-yard line. Mike Collins will stop him. Well, the voting's complete. Today's Visa Player of the Game is selected by the fans at home on ESPN.com. The Capital One Player of the Game. No surprise here, Ryan Brewer. 205 all-purpose yards, 3 touchdowns. In fact, it has probably close to 310 after that or 210 after that last carry. So our congratulations to him. What an afternoon. And that's enough for the first down, so they'll move the chains. Clock stops with 2 minutes and 15 seconds to play.
I'm sure Ryan Brewer can't wait to go home to Troy, Ohio, and celebrate this big win from South Carolina beating Ohio State. good football school, Troy High School in Troy, Ohio.
Well, the 3 touchdowns ties an Outback record. Gets the pitch. Fighting. Gonna have another first down. Brewer is just really putting on a show. And, you know, it's not flashy or anything, does not have extraordinary speed, but what he's got is he has ability, knows where to go with the football. Here he comes out. He's getting a standing ovation. They are standing and cheering across the way. 13 yards on that last carry, which puts him over 100 for the day. 19 attempts, 109 the total.
When you lose the star player, somebody has to step forward. Ryan Brewer did that today for South Carolina.
That's Trevin Smith. Live aerial views of today's Outback Bowl provided by Budweiser's own Budweiser.com airship, seen by millions of fans of its ongoing Goodwill Tour. This Bud's for you.
Ron, we'd be remiss if we didn't thank Jim McVay. He just does a great job here with the Outback Bowl.
Really does. And has become a good friend as well. Kimry comes in at quarterback. And Lou and Charlie both got doused, I think, as the ball is carried by Trevin Smith.
Don't forget the job Phil Petty did, too. Field general, made all the right moves.
17-16, the crowd is going to count it down. The celebration here at the stadium is underway, and I have a feeling it is underway back in the state of South Carolina as well. South Carolina has defeated Ohio State 24-7 in the 2001 edition of the Outback Bowl. Lou pulled out all the stops on this one, Mike. They had not worn garnet trousers or garnet pants and white jerseys for it had been a couple of decades, and he was looking for anything to spark this football team, even down to that. It all worked today. Adrian Karsten, let's check with you.
Behind an outstanding offensive game plan, the former player of the year in the state of Ohio, Lou Holtz, completes probably the most improbable turnaround in the last 2 decades of college football. Coach, congratulations.
I didn't do it. The assistant coaches and the players, we had a good game plan in the first half. We just didn't execute inside the 20. Second half, we did.
The old adage, speed in the South on defense, really contained Ohio State on offense in the first half.
Yeah, we have good speed, but we're also... We played pretty physical as well, and we felt this would be a good test for us. I think would help us take a step to the next level. Should be a great send-off for next fall.
6 programs you've been involved with. The second year you take them to a bowl. Where is the magic in that?
It's just in coaches and players and believing and having a plan and fundamentals. I mean, they believe in us now.
Ryan Brewer, congratulations. You're our player of the game.
Well, thank you. It's a great game for our team right here. It's always what we need right here.
The offensive game plan coming in today between Coach Lou and Coach Skip.
What can you say about the coaches? I mean, obviously it worked. It's a great game plan, and hey, we pulled it out.
So much has been made about how your defense might be suspect in this game, but they really did take over on Ohio State Buckeyes when they had to.
I knew our defense is probably one of the best defenses in the nation. They proved it tonight. But today, they're just a great team. And everything we did today, I owe it to them. I owe it to them, our offensive line. They're great today.
Congratulations, that defense, Ron, the one who led the SEC in scoring defense this year. Back to you, sir.
Okay, Mike, closing comment from you. We're not, either one of us are not surprised that they won the game, but maybe the way they won the ball game. A little surprised at that?
Well, they did a nice job play calling. Charlie Strong good on defense with his plan. Ryan Brewer just played above himself today and just gave a great performance. And you got to credit South Carolina. I mean, they just came to play.
Well, the love fest continues as they now are parading in the end zone of the stadium and shaking hands and thanking the fans for coming down from the Palmetto State. The final, South Carolina 24 at Ohio State 7. Coming up next, ESPN News. For Mike Godfrey, to Adrian Carson and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Ron Franklin. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, your home for college football on the internet. 24-7, the Gamecocks win it. Our congratulations to them, champions of the 2001 Outback Bowl. Ron Franklin saying so long, everybody, from Tampa, Florida.